something that is definitely dead, unlike pickleball, which is a massive and growing sport.
Deserving of government funding.
Maybe deserving of government funding if greyhound racing is. Well, something that is definitely not is woke Hollywood. Even the New York Times has now come to terms with the fact that Hollywood's progressive snowflake era is over. Instead, shows these days are hot, horny and white. I mean, part of me thinks this was all catalysed by Sydney Sweeney's ad. And in this article, they say a couple of years ago, that ad, with the amount of backlash it received for simply having a woman with blonde hair and blue eyes talking about how great her jeans were, that would have had serious ramifications for Sydney Sweeney's career. She would have been forced to apologise, make some token donation to an anti-racist group. But today, nothing's happened. In fact, American Eagle stocks have gone up. Sydney Sweeney has won more fans. People are happy to see the woke cult that's been controlling Hollywood finally lose its grip on the industry. So if even the New York Times is finally admitting that woke Hollywood is over, have we turned the point in the culture war?
Oh, I don't think, though. I think this is a premature victory lap for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can't get mad at Sydney Sweeney. So I think she's just an exception to the rule. Number two, the furor about the Sydney Sweeney ad is so ridiculous that it no doubt damages the whole woke movement, which eventually collapses in on its own contradictions, right? But the contradictions in this one, and it's based on the misunderstanding or deliberate and willful misinterpretation of a pun, is so ludicrous as to be stupid enough that everybody gets that. But having said, I think it's premature to declare woke defeated. I think we should keep on saying that it is, because woke people, by definition, are highly suggestible. In fact, woke survives by telling everybody, everyone believes this. If you don't believe this, you're the only one who doesn't believe it. We all know trans women are women, and if we repeat it often enough, remember the United Nations used to put out tweets, trans women are women, trans women are women, trans women. That's how the left works. Woke becomes fashionable by suggestion. So I think if the right just continually suggests that woke is finished, woke is over, woke is done, the people who normally gravitate towards woke, not wanting to be the odd ones out, will agree, oh, woke is not fashionable or cool anymore.
I do think you're right that we shouldn't get too cocky about it. There has been a major culture shift, particularly in the United States, and that sort of feeds through to everywhere else, because of the re-election of Donald Trump. And so there is a danger, I suppose, that for so long as Donald Trump is there, everything is going all right. Yep. But in 3 odd years' time, when Donald Trump is not there anymore, it can very quickly turn like that back to what it was. But the one thing we have in our advantage, apart from the fact that Trump has managed to get Mark Zuckerberg and all these people to come and kiss the ring, is that you've just got to look at where people have spent their money. And Hollywood has tried really hard to push the woke garbage down people's throats. And much like you saying that if we keep declaring woke is dead, they just sort of kept hoping that if they kept making woke movies, eventually people would accept them and go, well, bloody hell, if I want to go to the cinema, it's all I'm going to see. But people didn't go and spend their money watching woke movies. I mean, things like the Snow White they came out with, where Snow White wasn't white, bizarre, you know, it was an absolute flop at the box office. So people have voted with their dollars and their feet and said, we don't actually want this content anymore. So if mobs like Disney and everyone else want to make money, they've kind of got to produce what their audiences want to watch.
I want to believe that, but I was reading Mel Gibson's got the sequel to Passion of the Christ. It'll be Christ the Resurrection, I think it's called, comes out next year or the year after. But remember, it was back in 2004, and Mel Gibson funded that movie himself, spent $30 million on it, made $610 million worldwide. It was a huge financial success. You'd think, according to your argument, Hollywood studios would suddenly say, well, there's a market there, let's start producing conservative films, but they didn't. And so I'm not sure about the commercial argument. It makes sense. But since when have woke, or the people who subscribe to woke, ever done things according to logic or rational thinking?
That's right. And the problem is the industry is still full of so many ideologues who actually see their role as an activist role. They want to use this medium of film to push a political agenda. And that's one of the other reasons I do think woke is dead. It's It's because it's just boring. Every single movie line is the same. Oh, character wakes up, character rebels against societal norms, character's a rule breaker, character finds inner self, character is black, lesbian, bisexual, blah, blah, blah. Like, that is every single Hollywood movie. And eventually, characters breaking rules and being rebels and finding true inner self gets boring, and people just don't want to be bored anymore, and they don't want to go to the movies and feel like they're getting a political lecture every time they do.
Counterpoint though, James, Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood just keeps making movies.
Great point.
And they just keep selling. So there is a market for it if someone's willing to do it.
Yeah, that is a good point. Very good point.